Good morning. I am so excited to be with you today because this is my dedicated birthday show. Today, November 8th, is actually my 64th birthday. And I'm so grateful that I wanted this show to not only help enlighten you with some different things like I aim for all my shows to do, but I want to talk a little bit about my journey, how I ended up here. And that's why I'm outside and I'm in my cowboy hat. And I'm hoping that you'll hear my roosters and all that good stuff. So, but before we go further into what I'm talking about, I want to do my announcement. You're listening to the WCEG network on WCEGtalkradio.com or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, at WCEG Network. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like WCEG on Facebook, follow on Twitter or Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio and at WCEG Network. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show hosts and guests and not the WCEG Network. Thank you so much for your continued support. So I have a special guest today that I'm going to talk about, but first I'm going to share my screen and let's see. I want to kind of give you an update, or what do I want to say about this? I want to talk about my journey. And so I'm sharing my screen. So again, as you can see on the screen, now some of you will be listening to this on like iHeartRadio and you would have to go to YouTube or the recording that will be on my Facebook to see the actual slides that I'm showing as I show my screen. Or you can just listen to it like it's book on tape. So this is my dedicated birthday show, like I said, 64th birthday. And I'm sharing part of my journey because so often we forget who we are and what transpired during our journey in life to get us to where we are at this time. There go my roosters. I don't know if you hear them. That's Laurel that you can hear. But I ask, who are you really? And what you see here on my screen is you see this little girl there in the white with that little innocent smile, as I say. Well, that's me. And I was right about between 4 and 5 years old. Now, the second picture where you can see me, I've got the afro going on, trying, y'all. I used to tease my hair so hard, trying to make a halfway afro. But look at the smile or the half smile. And the reason why I'm talking about who are you really, it just amazes me that now when you see the picture further over to my right, I'm not sure how it looks on your screen, I'm full-fledged in teeth. And I used to be embarrassed to do that. And so I want this show to not only talk about the journey that I went on, but how did it transpire and who was I at the time and what did I grow to be? Well, this picture in the middle, I was in high school. It was my last year of school. And you guys, I was always so embarrassed about my mouth. I was always so embarrassed about how big my mouth was. I was teased about having a Kool-Aid smile. You look like a horse. How many teeth do you have in your mouth? So before I would even take a picture, I would do this, I would say, oh no, that's too big. Oh no, oh no, I would literally be trying to hold my mouth a certain way. Okay, that's good. There it is, right there. And so you have that chatter in your head about who you are, your insecurities, all those things that maybe somebody else would not see. Yes, I was excited, as you can see here on this photo. These are photos, again, that I pulled out of my yearbook that my very special guest, I actually lost her yearbook years ago when I was creating this slide presentation for when I teach. But that's another story. So right here, you see me playing tennis. I was literally the very first young lady in the history of Westport High School in Kansas City, Missouri, to receive a varsity letter. I actually played on the boys' varsity team, and I was number 9 seed. And I, again, got that varsity letter. There I am in the jacket, and I was so proud. But my face doesn't show that because, again, through the height of that historic moment, I still was thinking of my insecurities and could not smile to the full extent because of the things that we hold on to. We listen to that negative chatter. When do we grow out of it, or do we ever? So again, that's why I ask, who are you really, and are you being that? Are you living your best life, or are you just using it as a cliche? So I'm saying here, learn to embrace who you are. Well, it took some years for me. You guys, I was almost 40, but I want to show you that though I had that negative chatter and my own insecurities, I was still showing up in life, even in high school, on what I was going to grow up to be. Let me show you a few examples. Like here, I was in the president's student advisory council, and it took someone that I was dating some years back, and he said, Sherita, when did you start to love yourself? And I got kind of offensive. I was like, what do you mean love myself? I always love myself. And I wanted to get huffy about it. He said, Sherita, when I'm looking through your yearbook, you have to tell me who you are. He said, when I'm looking at pictures of you now, because of that huge smile that you have, I automatically can pick you out. But again, you guys, though I'm following the path, like this print, the council, I couldn't wait to get on it. And I'm the one second from the left on my screen. This was 1976. But I was afraid to smile, my full smile, but I was still doing what I loved. And so the purpose of this group was to enable students and let me move my menu out of my way. To enable students and administrators to cooperatively identify and consider school problems or concerns and ideas and possibilities for improving our school. Why? Because our school was our world. That's where we lived and breathed and where we excelled and wanted to make things better. It showed up for who we were. That was 1976 that I wanted to be on this to help make a difference. Now here, when we pull up on the slide, 32 years later, what am I doing? When I went home to Kansas City, Missouri, and I was working with my dad, helping with my dad, he had gotten really ill, so I moved back home. What was one of the first things I did? I joined the Neighborhood Advisory Council, and it was a board with a mission to represent the interests of Kansas City's diverse neighborhoods in the development and implementation of governmental policies that impact the quality of life for our residents. Isn't that the same thing on a larger scale of what I was doing in high school? So I'm showing you this because we will keep showing up on who we are. And so if you're not doing what is passionate, what feeds your soul, start looking back at when you were in school and what were the things that you gravitated to do. So again, back to school. I wanted to be involved. So in junior high school, I served as the treasurer on the council for offices. And then in high school, I think I became the treasurer. Yes, I was treasurer in my sophomore class. And then I was junior class president. That was 1977. Look at what happened 35 years later. You guys, I didn't know that I wanted to go into politics. I'm really not a politician. I just wanted to make a difference. So 35 years later, what am I doing? I'm running for city council. But what am I showing you? That we show up even in high school of who we're going to be as adults. You guys, look at the pictures. I'm sitting the exact same way. So what I'm saying to you is whether it's in high school, 10 years later, 35 years later, we keep showing up some kind of way. We keep gravitating to who we are as a person. Then back in high school, on the forensics team. Wow. And that's Ali over there on the right, if you can hear him. He wants to get loose. The forensics team was a competitive speech team set up for drama and debate activities. The overall aim of the forensics is to build the confidence and skills needed to research and speak to an audience. What am I doing right now? I'm speaking to an audience. I had no idea that the forensics team was preparing me to do the things that I keep gravitating to today. Being on that forensics team, what else does it do? Students in the program compete with students from other schools in speech, drama, poetry, reading, public speaking, storytelling, and radio. Again, you're listening to me now on the radio. So I ended up being on the air 30 plus years later. Didn't know that what I was gravitating to in school is what I would end up doing today. I'm a radio host and speaking with some of the top speakers all over the world. Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Bernie Dorman, rest in peace. But the thing is that how are you showing up in life? What is it that you've been ignoring about yourself that would truly feed your soul now? The goal of my radio show is to talk about things and bring on individuals that will help you do what you love until you're dirt again. We all have that appointment, though we don't want it, but we do. So how can you be living your best life right now in everything that you do. Because I had no idea, though I gravitated to nature, loving animals, I had no idea I'd be sitting right here on my family's hallowed grounds. So back to what we gravitate to. When I moved to Los Angeles, one of the things that really helped me to dive into what I do today is becoming a director at the YMCA. And here, this was way back, I think in like 1995 or 2000, I'm at the YMCA camp, and I still live by my motto, which is yo, you are your only limitation. So while we were up there with the kids that particular day, I had yo bracelets that I was giving to the kids, encouraging them to live their best life. You are your only limitation. So that's what was happening here. So now, this leads me to my very special guest that I want to talk about. Well, this is unexpected. I got to bring her on now.
Hi.
Because Barb has served as an educational leader for over 20 years.
41.
41 years.
41.
How did I have that? She's taught kids, she's gravitated and just made a difference in lives. But she made a difference in my life so early. We've been friends 58 years, 59 years.
Yep.
And so let me just bring her in. Let me move this wiring a little bit. And let's just kind of show you our history, as you can still see on the screen. Barb and I have been friends since I had just turned 5 years old. Of course, she's 10 years older than me, so she was 12 or something. No, we're 6 months apart.
Yeah.
And we became friends when I was in the kindergarten, right when I entered kindergarten. Mm-hmm. These are some of our historic photos. We were probably, what, Barb, about how old here?
Probably 12 or 13.
12 or 13. And I get emotional because she came here from Kansas City, well, Topeka, Kansas now, to help me celebrate my birthday. She's been here now since day before yesterday. Yeah. And we've been having a good time. Last night we had margaritas. We had our own party. And so, but I love this. You talk about a ride or die friend. And so, again, our journeys, Barb and I mean, my passion for animals and nature showed up. Barb, I mean, we would hike in the woods and get up and bike ride forever and a day. Barb used to get mad at me because we would get ready to go bike riding and I had to press my clothes and my earrings had to match.
And remember Roman sandals? She had to have the crisscross in the exact same place on the front and back and on both legs.
And she would be so frustrated.
And I would just sit there like, let's just go.
Now we're going bike riding, but I had to, you guys, I have been a clothes horse and jewelry horse all my life. And mixing that with nature exactly in what I'm doing now.
Right.
And so this is just so apropos to have this today because some kind of way, one of the things that I've learned from my mom, 5% of something beats 100% of nothing. So because I couldn't be in the country, it was my friendship with Barb that continuously led me into the hikes that we did through the woods. One time we were walking down by the creek and my dog fell in the creek. And
it was winter and there was ice and she dove right in there, got that dog.
I didn't even think about that. The ice would keep breaking and I wouldn't be able to get out.
Boy. I helped her out.
And yeah, Barb was standing there panicking and she's helping me get out. Thank God she was there. And you've just always been there. You've always been there. And so here's another one, us having some of our fun times when she's come here to Arkansas. And we've always laughed and just had the best time. And then we've celebrated countless birthdays together.
Yes.
And so I'm just so grateful for the journey. She's been there for my boys. She was there for the birth of my sons, who are now 43, 47, 43 and 47, 46. And so we have just unbelievable history. And for many of you that have listened to my YouTube video where I talk about driving towards success. And I say that I had this friend that for the first 15, 16 years of my life, she sat right here on seat number 1. And we talked, laughed. Well, this is who I was speaking of. And so let's see, because you're sharing your screen. Oh, yeah, let me stop sharing my screen. I want to stop. Let me see. You guys, 1 second. Because I want you to see us big.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
I kind of like us small.
Let's see. Now, I know my engineer, you get upset with me for talking to you, but I hope that they were seeing my entire screen when I was sharing. Can you tell me that, Vivian, or not? Vivian, were they seeing my entire screen?
I was typing.
Oh, so was that yes or no? Don't fuss at me.
When you share your screen, and can I see you?
I know, but when I was sharing my screen about high school and all that, were they seeing it?
Yes, they could see everything you were sharing. They just
Okay.
couldn't see you. And like when Barb came in, no one saw that but me.
Okay. So Barb is in now and they see her.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I won't call you back out to come talk to me as my engineer. But you know, the thing is so now I'm so grateful, Barb, for you, and I would like for them to know you. So give them a history of what you're doing, what you've been doing as an educator, and what's next for you.
Oh, well, I originally started in a small rural school, and I was there almost 30 years. And during that time, I coached volleyball, I coached track, in both junior high and high school. I also was class sponsor. In Kansas, we have a K's Club. It's Kansas Association for Youth. And that was the biggest club. And if anybody wanted something fun, like a dance, they'd always say, hey, it's time for us to do a dance. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then we would schedule a dance and everybody do it. But I'm going to tell you, the best one we did was we had a father-daughter night, and we had a lady who did where you go round and round and you square dance.
Almost square dancing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you, all the girls came back the next day and like, Engler, that was the most fun we ever had at a dance.
Square dancing.
Look, I thought I was going to have a heart attack doing the Cotton Eye Joe. I'm just going to say.
You also started the bowling club, the bowling thing. They didn't have
Not
that.
there.
Oh, okay. But you did start it at one of the schools.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I moved on to an urban school called Highland Park High School. And just giving a plug, A&E, it was their 100th anniversary, and A&E did a series called Undercover High. And I'm just barreling down the hallway because there I was a math instructional coach, and I was always on a mission somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just stormed the hall right down to the principal. And I did not realize they were actually filming her because I'm focused on what I needed to say, because I think everything I do is important, but not everybody does. But I'm on the opening shot every week of that. And I think that aired in 2016 on A&E. And they started and I had only been at Highland Park 1 year when they started the bowling club. And I was so amazed because I had to get on stage, and I figured I'm not a teacher, so not that many people know me, but I walked on that stage and I had, who wants to join bowling? And I'm telling you, the whole auditorium erupted with applause, and they quieted, and I could speak to them. And I'm like, please join. I'm be in the library. We will be the first bowling team ever for this school. Come on, come with me. And as I'm walking out after that, a social worker looked at me and said, well, Barb, you got quite the applause. I said, I know, that kind of shocked me. That was more than anybody else. And he's like, I know, that's because you're authentic and the kids
And
know
she
you're
is.
authentic.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be, but I say exactly what I think many times, and I need to filter that. And I was just telling Sherita, I had a student who was a 12th grader getting ready to graduate, go to college, and she came in with her last essay, and she started out with, "My name is, and I'm writing about this." And I just looked at her, I'm like, do they teach you how to do that? Because nobody wants to read that paper.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, I say you could do better. And we talked about it, and right now she's getting ready to move to Washington, D.C. to go to school to get her doctorate degree. So, I mean,
And she's shortcutting because of the show. Barb
Yeah.
works with students in so many unbelievable ways, even during COVID, when students were supposed to be on the screen or whatever. Barb went to their homes in some of the worst, some of the hardest hit as far as economically
right.
communities.
Mhm.
And Barb
Mhm.
was the only white face, and she's going through buildings trying to find students to make sure they get their homework. Of course, even when parents answered the door,
Mhm.
they were shocked and wondered why you were there.
Right.
But still, I thought that was a mosquito going to get you. We are outside. But again, her passion.
Mhm.
And even in high school, with you taking the courses you took, all of that led you to where you are.
Mhm.
You were involved with bowling.
Mhm.
You were involved in sports.
Mhm.
You were involved in a lot of the clubs that I participated in, the Quill and Scroll.
Mhm.
And I didn't show that one. That led you to do the things you do now. So I'm
Right.
going back to, as far as my listening audience, there are things that you probably haven't tapped into about yourself that you were truly passionate about when you were your younger you.
Mhm.
And how can you get back into that? How can you start, even if it's just 5%, like I said earlier, 5% of something beats 100% of nothing. So I would try and just do little bits of me. And so, like a lot of times on Facebook, people say, Sherita, you're so talented. You do so much. You guys, God was not selfish when he gave me talents. He gave all of us talents, skills. We all have different layers of who we are. And I always jokingly say, I'm just greedy. I try and live all of mine. I want to paint. I want to be here with the animals.
Yeah.
I want to play my cello. I want to do business training. I want to be on the air. I mean, and I'm going to do bits and pieces of that at different levels. Just like Barb, you're now retired.
I am retired for the second time because they called me back last year because they needed a science teacher, and I went back, and it was kind of hard at first, but I won them over. So
Yes. And so Barb serves as one of my sister city collaboratives, and we're developing more youth programs, and we're
Mhm.
going to use her vast knowledge and experience to create curriculums, because you've done a lot of curriculum development.
yes, I have.
What was your title for that?
I was a curriculum coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I also helped write the state science assessment.
Wow. So see,
Mhm.
I've got a wonderful partner, not only as a friend, but a great collaborative partner. And so so that brings me to what I want to talk about until the close of the show, because I said I wanted to talk about what's next. And so I'm going to go back and show my screen, and let's see. So I want to talk about my campaign that we're launching for the Philanthropy Alliance Foundation and what's going to be happening here on the land. I'm saying here, making a difference while preserving history. And again, you see the photo of my great grandparents, who the old house is still standing here on the land. My grandmother and her 13 siblings were born in that house. Well, this house is going to now serve a new purpose. So as one priority, when in launching this fundraising campaign, and hopefully those of you that are my listeners will become one of the donors to help us move these projects forward. We're going to, your support will help us restore the historic structure that will allow new memories to be created. This was once an area called Kennedy Hill, and the only families that lived up here were Black families, where now I'm so excited that the programs and services that we're developing here, and many of you have seen on Facebook, is serving all community. And this will now be serve as our lodge. It's going to be where if the weather will not allow, we would do our painting classes and our youth classes here in this structure. It will also serve as the mess hall for the youth camp that we're developing. Last summer, we had to turn away 3 organizations, one of them with my Paris Collaborative and our youth veterinarian program. We had to turn them away because we didn't raise the dollars in order to do what I'm getting ready to show you next. On the screen on the left is a mobile home that was donated to us. We had 2 of them donated. One was 45 feet, the other one 60 feet. And I was so excited because with my handyman, we were excited about rehabbing these, bringing them to the property for our bunk houses for our youth camps. Well, when we went on the inside and he looked at the shape of the structures, he said, Sherita, they're not even worth moving. So then on the right side is what we're aiming to have. This is it's a $29,000 building, 16 by 40, that will allow us to have 10 bunk beds in each unit, which means that 20 kids per unit could be there. And by this August, we will have our youth camps taking off with our sister city collaboratives. And so I'm excited about the campaign that we're launching. We're raising over $200,000 for the youth camps to pay for low-income kids to also come to the camps, to launch our artist retreats and women's retreats that will also utilize the campgrounds. So we're just really excited about that. And I wanted to launch that here on my birthday. And I hope again that our listeners will become donors. And so Barb, are you excited about the programs? And you being here, you've been so much an intricate part of even ideas. So what do you think?
I'm totally excited about it. And I just think there's so much potential here for tons of different programs and different interests that can happen while out here, because it is beautiful. I took a walk last night down her road, and just the nature around us is wonderful. And the rock structures, because again, I have a science background, so I was like, oh, look at those rocks, and talking about in my mind, going through the different types of rocks that were there that I saw. So I just feel that you can open it up to several different groups with different ideas. And painting outside.
Oh yeah. We've hosted a few art excursions. We had the Conway League of Artists come up, and they wanted to paint the old structures. And then when the campers come, we have the you over there messing with Ali. And then when the campers come, we've been doing the outside painting, the sip and paints and that kind of thing. And so yeah, I'm excited. And Barbara, is this your 4th trip here? 5th trip?
5th, I think.
Yeah. And so again, we're excited about what's coming. You will, for those of you that are tuned in right now, and later on my Facebook, you will see the post that is leading you to our fundraising campaign that is going to go through the end of March 2024. So I really hope that you will help support our efforts. You can support from $5 a month even. Maybe you might want to be a continual donor with $5 a month for 12 months, or $100 a month for 10 months, or a one-time donor of $1,000. Whatever you would contribute will be of a major help for the development of what's happening here in the Barnyard. And so we're so excited. So Barb, we have about a minute to go. Is there anything you'd like to say, and as we're closing out?
Well, one thing that you left out on your donations, they're all tax deductible because this is a nonprofit.
Yes.
And that helps with your tax bill. So, I'm definitely going to be a donor. I've already told her when I came down here, because I actually believe in Sherita, and everything in my mind, everything she does is a success.
Well, that's because you love me too.
I do love you.
So again, I want to thank you for joining us today, me and my very best friend, Barb. And what are you doing to, again, live your best life, not just to say it, but to live it every day? I want to thank you so much for joining us here on Beverly Hills to Barnyard. Stay tuned to all the wonderful things that are going to be coming on. And thank you for letting me introduce you to my buddy Barb. You guys have an absolutely phenomenal day.